Good afternoon, everyone. I am back with another unboxing video. A little bit of an impromptu one. I've got some other things to attend to today, so as soon as this arrived, I will say that this was actually originally meant to be delivered to me on, I believe, let's see, Friday. This was meant to have been delivered, and I got an email. They provided like tracking information for it. Quickly realized it probably wasn't going to be here on Friday. Never arrived on Saturday, and the days kept going by. But it finally arrived today. This is another United Cutlery item. It's been a while since I've done an unboxing video. I think the last one that I did, if I remember rightly, was the Aragorn Elven Knife. But I saw this on eBay. They actually don't crop up as much on eBay anymore. I don't know if it's some kind of policy with like movie replicas or like weapons, licensed replicas and things like that. I don't know, or maybe people just aren't selling them. But I did see this one, and this is, as you can see from the title, it's the Illuminated staff, the Moria staff of Gandalf the Grey. This is going to complete the pair of Gandalf the Grey staffs from the Fellowship of the Ring. I remember watching those films for ages and just assuming that he had the same staff, which, because they do kind of look similar on the top just a little bit. But he has the one. I can show this one off first, actually, before we get to the unboxing of the new one. I've just taken it off the wall. that was not what I wanted to do. With this base, but yeah, this was the other one that I owned. This is the just like the regular Gandalf the Grey staff here, which comes with the pipe, the replica pipe. And as I did this on the video, I'm gonna have to bump the camera up, I think, for this one. There we go. It's stand back a little bit. It's quite tall. I mean, it's pretty much level with me, more or less, isn't it? If I stand to an angle, a little bit taller, maybe. Yeah, so I'm 5'10". So this is probably sitting at about like 5'11" or something like that. I'm going to need to try and get that back up on the wall. That's slightly unfortunate. But yeah, so let's get to the unboxing. This is, as I mentioned, the Illuminated staff of Gandalf the Grey. This one comes complete with a little crystal that sits in the top of the staff. And I believe there's some kind of like LED in there, some battery, which I'm hoping will work, because then I can do it on the live stream here. So all I've done is I've already opened the box, because this would have taken me ages actually on the live stream to do. So yeah, am I standing up to a good angle here? Should I stand to the other side? I don't know. I'm just going to stand here. So of course, as is the case with a lot of these United Cutlery items, it's like a pass the parcel. There's a box within a box within a box. It's Russian dolls of boxes. All right, let's get this one out. So with the recent range of these United Cutlery items, the same goes for the, oh, you can't see it. I've got a cardboard box over there with the Mace of Sauron, which I already did an unboxing of whenever I got that. The newer range of these items, the packaging leaves a little bit to be desired, actually. It's usually just a bog standard cardboard box, as you see, with a sticker plastered on it, and that's it. That's the packaging, essentially. So on here we've got this sort of weird little runic design, and on the sticker it just says Moria staff of Gandalf, prop replica with illuminated crystal, and that's it. So on a lot of the swords, you might be able to see in the background there, I've got Orcris. They used to come in these really nice slip covers, but they've seemed to have done away with those now, and it's just really a crude cardboard box with some whacked on the side. But anyway, we're not here for the box, are we? We're here for the item itself. Oh, I haven't opened that completely. There we go. And of course, as predicted, inside we have more boxes to get through. Polystyrene. So let's see if I can get this out. They have kept the certificate of authenticity very nicely to the side. And that's the eBay invoice. Excellent, nice little message from them there. So I'll hold this up to the camera first, and then we'll get to the item properly. So yeah, this is the certificate of authenticity. Just tells you a little bit about the item. I'm not going to read all of this. I don't know what the quality is like. You could get a freeze frame of it there and read it yourself. And then on the flip side, we've just got the ring script there, which seems to be the sort of house design for these. These actually are quite interesting to read through. Sometimes it gives you a little bit about the backstory of it. It actually, this is part of the Hobbit range, I believe, of staffs. Because it mentions here about how in the Hobbit, Desolation of Smaug, Gandalf has a certain staff, which is then destroyed in Dol Guldur, and this one actually belongs to Radagast the Brown. So it goes all into the information about the history of this thing. But I really got this because this is part of the Lord of the Rings, right? That's where the staff was originally intended for, I guess. Carl says, "Afternoon, Chris. I'm watching from work. Don't tell my boss." Yeah, I did try to get this live stream out for the lunch rush, but I was a little bit delayed. So don't worry, your secret's safe with me, Carl. So there we go. Very nice certificate of authenticity. I'm just going to put that off to the side. And Carl, you're just in time for the item itself, I believe. So let's get stuck into this. Hopefully, I can get into this okay. Ooh. Let's see. Come on, you know you want to. Well, maybe it doesn't want to. Come on. Right, we're going to go with the age-old thing. This isn't graceful at all. I'm just going to tip this upside down. Oh, there we go. There we go. Okay, right, progress. Bear with me. It's going to be worth it. Right, sellotape. Let's start taking all this off. But yeah, so I saw this and I was debating whether to get it. Obviously, I needed it for my collection, but I usually prefer, on the whole, getting the swords. They're just way cooler, in my opinion. The staffs are never made from proper wood. It's usually some kind of like poly resin or something. Painted very good, and I mean, as I said, showing the other one, they do look the part. When they're on the wall, they look really, really cool. But this is a big one from Fellowship, isn't it? And I do need it for my collection, and you don't see these every day. So, there it is. You guys can't see. Let me show you. Okay. There's always that initial moment where I get this with every single United Cutlery item I get. I open the box, and it's there, and it's like staring in front of you, and you've seen this thing in the films for however many years you've been watching them. And yeah, it does kind of hit you like, oh, this is like I found like this ancient artifact or something from the films. It's really cool. Right, let's. Oh, I don't want to try and grab that end. Let's go in this end. Okay. Ugh. Oh, polystyrene everywhere. Right, let's just get that loose there for a second. Okay, let's go through the slightly less interesting stuff first, and we'll save the staff till last. Comes with the display plaque, which oh no, it's slightly different to the other one. But this is I think this is like a resin as well. Good sturdy stuff. Nice little design there. I'm actually not sure what that is a design of in particular there, but there we go, where the staff will sit up and you've got like the wall brackets. So we've got that. And then this is going to come in handy in just a second because we've got the little crystal, and yes, the LED light, which fingers crossed, let's hope this works. Hey, we've got a light. We have a light. So this is the crystal. Yeah, I don't know what this is made of. See-through. And then this is, I'm assuming, is going to sit underneath it and sort of shine upon through the crystal, I would imagine. The light itself looks fairly dull. I don't think you can really see that in the light, so I don't know if this needs a new battery maybe, but the guy who I bought this off told me that they bought it, they opened it, they looked at it, and it hasn't been displayed, it hasn't been put up on a wall or anything like that, so it should be more or less as brand new as it can be, really. Right, let's try and piece this together. Let's just look at the stuff on its own first, and then we'll try and attach the crystal, I think. Okay. Oh, what's the best end? Yeah, let's fight this. Come on. So yeah, same material as the other staff. I'll do a little bit of a comparison at the end, I think. Oh, there it is. So bit of a closer, try and block out the light. Ooh, if I can. There we go. You guys can see the detailing a little bit more there. Really, really intricate stuff. I wish you could see the detailing a little bit more. But it's got like a really nice finish to it. It feels Feels really good in the hand. This is the You Shall Not Pass staff. So this is it's a pretty special one. Probably sits it's about just a little bit smaller, I would say, than the other one, isn't it? Let's compare the two. If I stand them up next to each other. Let's see if I back up a bit. Yeah, this one just a little bit taller than that one by a small margin. But it's really cool. It's really cool having both of them now. I'm a very happy man. Oh, it doesn't take a lot to make me happy, but if it's Lord of the Rings related, it's always going to do that. So let's get another look there. Yeah. As I say, I didn't even realize that he had two staffs in the movie. I think I was watching it with I was showing them my mate for the first time one time. And when he showed back up in the second half of the movie at Rivendell, and as the quest goes on, he's got his staff back. He said, "Well, hang on, how does he have his staff? Because he didn't have it when he jumped off the tower onto Gwaihir and flew away." And I was like, that's a really good point. And I thought it was a plot hole at first, and then I was realized, oh no, he obtains another staff from elsewhere. So yeah, I'm really happy with this one. I do like the one with the pipe. We're going to put the crystal in this in just a second and see what it looks like when it's all lit up and whatnot. But I think out of the two staffs, this one's my favorite. I love sort of how the branches at the top of it splay out, and the whole Moria sequence is just probably my favorite bit from that first Fellowship of the Ring movie, and the book as well. I absolutely love the stuff in Moria. So when he's like, let us risk a little more light, and yeah, it's good stuff. Right, I need to try and think how this all connects together now. So we're going to try it. Let's see. So we've got, I know the crystal is going to go on top of there. And there's got to be a way to, I don't want to drop that in if it's going to fall in. Let's see. Okay, so that's going to sit there. And then I'm assuming, I don't know if there's a certain way that the crystal needs to sit. I'm going to have to, I'm going to have to check that, because we want screen accuracy here, right? We want screen accuracy. Right, I'm thinking it sits that way. Yeah, that feels more snug there. Let's try a darkened room. I'm going to try and kill the lights, because I'm not seeing much of a glow on this, I must admit. Oh yeah, that is weak. That is so there's a little hole at the top of the staff that you let me hold it up to the camera, that you slide the LED into. And then you just sort of take this loose crystal and you just put it in the top. But I mean, it's not really glowing, is it? So that's a bit of a shame. I think I don't know if it's the battery in the LED, or maybe it's just not a great one. But yeah, there's not really a glow from it. It just sits in, barely any glow at all. Let's get the light back on. So that's a shame. That's a mark against it. I was expecting more from that. I think, I don't know how easy these are to buy. I probably will have to buy some other kind of like laser pen kind of thing, or LED light, one that's a little bit more brighter, a little bit more vivid, and try and get the measurements right where I can get that into the staff in its place. I mean, as an item, I got it for the item. Like, I'm not going to be walking around with this lit up. It would be really cool, and I probably do want to try that at some point. But for right now, it's just part of the collection, and it's a really, really iconic look. It's an iconic prop from the film, of a very, very iconic character from those films. So I'm happy that I've got this and it sits alongside. I'm actually looking at the color in between the two staffs, and this one is definitely sort of a lighter brown on the wood. Well, on the paintwork here. The other one, it's quite like a dark wood effect, whereas this one, maybe slightly more obvious that this is painted. It's still a very, very good job, and it certainly looks the part from a distance. I think out of the two, I definitely prefer the one with the pipe, actually, when I'm seeing these finished products together. But in terms of design, this one's my favorite in terms of the look of the two staffs. So, yeah, bit of a mixed bag on this one. It looks great, and I'm happy with it, and I'm glad I've got it in my collection. But, yeah, I mean, just this is like the weediest light ever. It's not kicking out anything. So, as I say, maybe it's the battery. going down in this. I might watch a couple of other unboxing videos on this staff, because I haven't done my homework on this one. So maybe that's a common problem with a lot of these, is that the light that they give you isn't that great. But it is what it is. It's fine. It's fine. I'm happy with the item, and yeah, it's another one to the collection. As staffs go, there's a few more that I need if I am going for completion. At the moment, I'm just trying to focus on the Lord of the Rings replicas and whatnot. I did sort of go against my rule a little bit. I do have Orcrist from the Hobbit. Someone was selling it for a lot cheaper than it normally goes for, and I'd have been a fool not to go for it. So I did buy Orcrist, and it is a really nice sword, so I'm happy that I have that one. But every other one that I own and continue to collect is pretty much from the Holy Trinity of films, which are the Lord of the Rings trilogy, of course. But other staffs in the line, at least from the Lord of the Rings line, there's Gandalf the White Staff. There's Saruman's staff. Those are pretty pricey, and I know that the Gandalf the White Staff is prone to cracking and breaking, and that was a common issue with the staff. Another thing which I'm not keen on with the Saruman staff and the Gandalf the White Staff is that it doesn't come in a solid item. This is just, like one item solid through and through. Those other two staffs have they come in two parts, and there's like a thread in the middle, and you have to screw the two together. But because of that, you have this really, really annoying sort of break where the two parts of the staff meet, which I don't know. It's pretty unsightly. If you're going for a replica, I'd rather just have a staff that's fully complete rather than this joining point in the middle, because it's really obvious to the eye, and it's not disguised or anything. But I would like to get those again just for completion in terms of the staffs. And then in the Hobbit line, I think there's a few more actually. There's Gandalf the Grey staff from the Hobbit, and then I think there's an Illuminated staff from the Hobbit as well. So I think if I'm going for all of them, there's 4 left. So there's still a fair few. I know Saruman in the Return of the King says, the rods of the 5 wizards. Technically, you could get Sarumans, you could get Radagast's, and you could get Gandalf's. So that could be 3 staffs. But I mean, the blue wizards are an enigma, right? But it would be really cool if someone, does like 3D printing or something like that, and is really good at making replicas and whatnot, and they could make 2 staffs of, like Alatar and Palando, the 2 blue wizards, and then technically you could say that you've got all 5 staffs of the Astari. So that'd be amazing. But wishful thinking. Who knows? I mean, it wouldn't be official, would it? That's the thing. But it would look cool. Like in your own world, you'd be like, yeah, they're the rods of the 5 wizards right there. So let's set this down a little bit. I'm probably just going to keep it in hand because why not? It looks cool. Oh, I'll just take the knee. Let's get to a couple of comments, and as I said, I'm probably going to round it off here because we've done everything we need to, don't we? But yeah, it's cool. Let's see. Bath Time says, "Big up, Chris. I'm at work, but we'll never turn the chance down to watch a grown man running around his room with a staff." Oh, there we go. Sorry. I'm back. I'm back. Okay, what happened was when I tilted the Mac up, the power cable came loose in the back. So yeah, it shut off my computer. That was unfortunate. Anyway, let's return to our regularly scheduled programming. Hopefully we still got some people in. Bath Time says, yes, we'll never pass up the opportunity to watch a grown man running around the room with his staff. Yep. And I probably will do this. If I manage to get this on the wall, I will say, long ago, I have ran out of wall space. Completely and utterly. I've got about three United Cutlery items up in that corner, which I have no room for. I've got my Sauron mace, which will occupy like a whole fucking wall. And now I've got this one. And I mean, I do want to try and get this one up next to the other one that I've got on the wall, but even then, I don't think there's space. So, I mean, if I see these, I'm going to keep buying them. It's, you know, it's an illness. It's a sickness. I'm aware of this, but it's Lord of the Rings and it's fucking great. And I've always wanted these replicas since I first saw the movie. So I'll keep getting them whenever I see them and when I can afford them. But yeah, it would be nice to try and get them on the walls. I did even wonder, have I got, I don't think I have, if I've got space in between all of the posters, but I don't know. I don't think I'd sleep soundly at night knowing there's like a sword hanging over my head, so probably not the best idea. Let's see, anything else? Bath Time says, if you had to get rid of either the film trilogy or the Silmarillion, Chris, which terrible choice would you pick? Oh my god. If I had to get rid of either the film trilogy or the Silmarillion, what would I do? I'd have to preserve the Silmarillion. You know, I mean, everyone gives credit to Tolkien, J.R.R. Tolkien, and quite rightly so. He was the guy that wrote them. But I think more credit I misspoke. Not more credit. Credit also needs to be given to his son, Christopher Tolkien, who was an incredible custodian of his father's works, really seemed to understand his father's works. And, you know, if it hadn't been for him, we wouldn't have all of these extra stories. So as loath as I am to do it, I'd have to get rid of the film trilogy because the books, you know, those stories, those extra stories that were released posthumously that we probably thought we'd never get, are more important, I would say. It's a God, don't make me make that choice. Can I not have both? It's great that we live in a world where I can have both. Let's see. But yes, I'm back. Let's see. JX says, yeah, the Spark of Hope poster signing up in the guest room because I too only have room for more narrow wall mounts. Yeah, swords, rifles, staffs. Well, JX, I mean, you have also got into collecting various swords now. I think I don't know. Did you buy a second one? I know you got one from Princess Bride, and you were talking about getting another one, but I'd say because the replicas are usually really good. If you get them from like a bona fide company, and United Cutlery, there are other companies that produce Lord of the Rings replicas. There's the Noble Collection, and there's probably a bunch of other ones now as well. United Cutlery tend to be quote unquote the best one that I've seen. Let's see. Bath Time. What do you say to girls, etc. you bring home for the first time, or is it just a massive surprise? I'll be like, don't get your hopes up. It's not quite as big as Gandalf stuff. No, yeah, they're pretty cool with it. You know, I'm always very open about how nerdy I am, and that Lord of the Rings is, you know, and if the girls that I do tend to bring home would probably more than likely be into Lord of the Rings as well. So yeah, I don't know. I seem to get a kick out of them anyway. But we all collect stuff, don't we? I mean, some stuff that we collect is definitely more expensive than, you know, some stuff that other people collect. But I'm always interested in, and I ask this question every time I do an unboxing, but what are some stuff that you guys collect? And do you collect any replicas, or maybe you're into collecting Funko Pops, or, you know, whatever it happens to be, film memorabilia? I'm always interested to know what people are into. JX says, I also got Wesley's, but it makes more sense for my brother to have that. Yeah, that's fair enough. And that's kind of cool that you own one and your brother owns one. And yeah, that's pretty cool. That said, the missus and I are talking about going to King Richard's Fair as Inigo and Wesley masked. Yeah, that would be badass. Yeah, just borrow it back for the day. What are they like with you taking replica weapons in? Because I mean, they are replicas. They're officially licensed replicas, but some of them are pretty sharp. I think the two ones that could actually deal some damage legitimately are the Legolas fighting knives that I have and the dagger of the Witch King, which is incredibly sharp. Because usually these are, like completely dulled within an inch of their life, and they are there just for, of course, display purposes. But some of them I'm like, oof, yeah. I think actually when my mate was helping me put these on my wall initially, he accidentally stabbed himself in the palm of his hand with the Legolas fighting knife, and it drew blood. I was like, oh shit. Ooh. But I think there are some new rules and regulations now, actually, with and maybe this is why I haven't seen as many on eBay, although they do crop up every now and then. In the whole selling, because the UK is, I'm not going to get into it. The UK is on its arse at the moment. We're dealing with a lot of shit at the moment, but I swear to God there was some kind of policy or legislation that came in relatively recently that banned the selling of like samurai swords, I guess, even like display ones. I think. I mean, I don't know all the ins and outs of it. Maybe that was just like a puff piece that I found on Google, and it's actually not true. But then I thought, oh, I wonder if that extends to, especially if you're buying something international and it's a sword, it's a replica, maybe it's a no-go. Maybe it's a no-fly zone now for that kind of stuff. But I mean, this is just a staff. This is fine. This is the exception to the rule, I guess. So yeah, in terms of, I mean, it's difficult to say which other swords I'd like to get next in the collection, because it legitimately is whenever something crops up. United Cutlery are constantly putting out new stuff. I think they've mentioned that, I'm surprised they haven't done this already, actually, but they're doing a Legolas, Legolas Lothlorien bow, the one that Galadriel gifts to him in the extended edition of Fellowship of the Ring. They've pretty much done a weapon for every single member of the Fellowship, more or less. There's a couple that they haven't. Merry and Pippin, it'd be cool if they eventually do the daggers of the Noldorin. That'd be cool if they did like a pair of those. But the main one, like Legolas, they've done his fighting knives. You can buy the scabbards for the fighting knives. I think there is a short bow of Legolas from the Hobbit films, but in terms of Lord of the Rings, they haven't released his main bow and arrow. There was another company called... was it HCG? I think Hollywood Collectors Group. I think that did release a replica of Legolas's bow many years ago. Now it was a limited edition run. They only made a few hundred, I think, and they fetch for thousands if you even see one at all. So that is currently the only one available. But as I said, I know that United Cutlery are going to be doing their own version next year, which I'm really excited for. I've heard from some people that a lot of the recent items, they're not passing the quality checks. The paint job doesn't look quite as refined. The materials that they're using, I'm not going to say that they're cutting corners, because I know that they do work hard, but there is definitely a marked difference between the swords from the original line, which are the ones that I always try and get, and the modern releases. So what else have they released? I know that they've recently released Eyegloss as well, which is Gil-galad's spear. But again, it's not made of metal. It's like a resin that's painted metal. I'm like, ugh, that's a shame. I think I'd like to get some of the Rohan swords. I'm on a bit of a Rohan kick. So, yeah, there's a few of those that have been released. You can get Herogrim, King Theoden's sword. There's Eowyn's sword, Guthwine, which is Eomer's, and they even released Theodred's as well. So I think there's other stuff as well, like the Spear of Eomer, and then there's the helmets, which I'm not going to attempt collecting at the moment. I'm going to focus on the staffs and the swords, the axes, the weapons. But yeah, I think a Rohan one. I think that would be finally a nice addition to the collection. But the one that I really want to track down is Boromir's sword. Love me some Boromir. They've released quite a few Boromir items now, actually. You can get the... I think they're working on his shield. I think that's going to be one of the new items that comes out. Recently, they've released the dagger of Boromir. There's the Horn of Gondor, which you can get. So if you could track down all of those and the Sword of Boromir, you could almost have like a little Boromir shrine, which could look pretty cool. There's Faramir's sword as well, which would be a nice one to pair with that too. So inherently, there's still lots more I need to collect. If I am going to go for completion, if I am going to try and collect them all, there's no I guess the expiration date on all of this is when I eventually die. So, I've got from now until whenever that is to try and amass as much of the collection as I can. And, I always buy within my means. I'm always responsible with this kind of stuff, because some of them can be quite pricey. I managed to negotiate a bit of a price on this one. I made an offer. I made an offer that he couldn't refuse. I made an offer on eBay, and I think you get like 24 hours. There was like 11 watchers as well. So I thought, oh, someone's going to snap this up. So I negotiated the price down. I think I took like £20 off. I didn't want to try and take the piss with it. But he left it right till the last minute before he accepted that offer. So I think he was probably waiting to see if anyone could beat it or if anyone went for it at full price. But thankfully he accepted the offer, and I'm going to have to leave some very, very nice feedback later because, yeah, bang up job, really well delivered, well packaged, and great communication. He's left me a really nice note as well that was attached to the item. So, yeah. Let's see. Bath Time says the ninja sword thing was 1st of August, and I think having ID to buy cutlery has been around for at least 15 years. Oh, fair enough. Yeah. JX says, well, that bell broke on the last day of filming. Oh, hang on. Bath Time says market forces will be in your favor as they will probably have to release new replicas to get around if they're based or having a strong user base in the UK. What I've been finding as well with a lot of these United Cutlery items that get sold, so I'm part of a couple of Facebook groups that are into Lord of the Rings collecting. A lot of the things that people sell are the marquettes, like the models, which cost hundreds and look amazing, but I haven't got the space to display stuff like that, so I'm just sticking with the swords for now. But sometimes they'll release a new version of a sword they've already released. For example, I've got the limited edition Anduril there with the scabbard. They did release a normal version of Anduril, then they did a limited edition, which is the one that I have, and then recently they've released a museum collection Anduril, and the museum collection essentially is meant to be made with better materials. It's meant to be the most screen accurate, and just be the better made one. Although I've heard some people say it's not so great. So whenever they release something like that, you get a lot of people selling off their old stock of, the original release or the original limited edition because they want to buy this new improved version. I think similar with King Theoden's sword Herogrim, they've released a battle forged edition fairly recently, which again, a lot of people have compared to the original, and the original is made from better materials. It's more screen accurate. It feels better. But nonetheless, some people are selling off the old stock because they're interested in buying this new improved version. The same happened with the Sauron mace. So I think they have actually put the Boromir swords back into circulation. They've started manufacturing those again. So hopefully, fingers crossed, people might be selling off their old ones, because I do want to try and go for the ones in the original line if possible. JX says, I saw Herogrim hanging in the window of a shop in Paris when I was 8, and I've wanted it since. Actually thinking about it now, I'm surprised I didn't have it already. I'd say probably out of all the swords, Herogrim seems to be the one that crops up the most among collectors and, eBay or whatnot. It seems to be pretty readily available now, especially, as I mentioned, there's that new edition that's been released too. So, yeah, it's a beautiful sword. I mean, I've always loved Rohan. Just, some people like either Team Rohan or Team Gondor. I like both, but for me, it's Rohan. I love the Anglo-Saxon feel to everything, and just, the horse designs on the pommel. Is it the pommel? Not the pommel. What do you call it? The crossguard, I guess. Just looks amazing. So intricate, and yeah, I love it. Jack says, amass your collection for as long as an Irishman can bury his emotions. Oh, I intend to. That Time says, are we getting anything for the 25th anniversary, do you think? Like a massive new super Blu-ray with the deleted scenes, etc.? I mean, Peter Jackson keeps teasing it, doesn't he? He's teased it since the days of the original DVD release. And I know when they bought out that 4K box set a few years ago, they did so many versions of that, didn't they? They did the collector's tin with all three. Then they released all three separately. And there was loads of different packagings and whatnot. But then there was that huge box set, which came packaged with, because by God, they're going to keep trying to sell you the Hobbit trilogy. It came with the Hobbit trilogy and it came with the Lord of the Rings. And I think in it was included it was either a new documentary, or I think it was the 26 minutes that they showed at Cannes. Originally, before the original film came out. It was like the teaser footage that was only screened to a few people. I think that was included, and I don't think that's been seen by anyone before. But it still didn't have the deleted scenes, and we know they exist. There's compilations on YouTube. There's stuff taken from the appendices from the DVD. There's stuff that didn't even make it into that Peter Jackson says was filmed, was shot, and never made it into the film. So I would absolutely love if they release something like that for the 25th. But I mean, it's easy money. If Warner Brothers said, we're going to put out a new box set, even if it was in 4K, like, I'd take it. If that was the only way that you could get a hold of this. I don't even have a 4K player and I'd buy it. And they said, we're putting the deleted scenes on the disc. I don't even need them integrated into the movie. In fact, I don't think I'd like that. I think even if they just if they remastered them, that would be incredible. But even if they didn't, if they just said, you know, these are the raw, this is the raw footage that was shot, because it never made it into the edit, so it was never, the effect shots weren't finished in there, but this is what we've alluded to all these years. They would print money. Everyone would buy that. Anyone who's a Lord of the Rings fan would try and get a hold of those if they can, to watch through them. So yeah, I don't think I'd want like a super extended edition where these have been put back into the movie, although for fan editing purposes, that would be really handy. People would clean up the footage anyway. With everything that's available now, people, even if it was just the raw footage, people would find a way to get those into some kind of edit or dress them up. But the fact that they're just not available kills me. Which is surprising, because I think the Lord of the Rings films are probably the most documented films in terms of the making of that I've ever seen for a film. You know, all the multiple discs and the appendices across both the Lord of the Rings films and the Hobbit films. It's extremely well documented. So I'm very surprised that they haven't already been made available. So I think, you know, it's not a Peter Jackson decision. It's very much a Warner Brothers decision. And they're a very frustrating company. So we'll see. I hope we do get something, because it's a big milestone. Let's see. Bath Time says the one with the Barad-dûr on the cover is the latest one, 4K release, right? Yeah, I believe so. So that's the trilogy packaged together. But then those same discs, they came packaged in like a steelbook box set that you can get, or I think now you can buy the steelbook separately. They did another one which has like a Doors of Durin cover. This might have been an American release. I'm not sure if we got one of these, and it came with a really cheap replica One Ring on a chain. There's that one too. I think that's all of them. But then there was a big box set that was released with The Hobbit and The Lord of the Rings, and that's the one that had that extra documentary on there. That time says it might interfere somehow with the new film, splitting The Hobbit pound or something done. Yeah, I mean, so next year, yeah, 2026 is going to be. See, that would make sense. They could release like a big box set or something for the 25th anniversary, and then the following year we get The Hunt for Gollum. So it's all things Middle Earth. But I'm not going to hold my breath for some kind of release. I hope they do, and if they do release some kind of like big limited edition thing, I'll probably end up buying it. Of course, I will. But yeah, I just want those scenes made available. The main one I want to see. And I was watching the director's commentary on Return of the King, and it's where Sam goes into Cirith Ungol, and you've got those two sort of like security statues, for want of a better word. Are they called I was going to say the Watchers, but I think, you know, I'm thinking of the Watcher in the Water. I forgot what they're called, but they're those three-headed vulture statues that sort of sound the siren. If it's basically like a burglar alarm, isn't it? I guess. And Sam holds up the light of Eärendil and manages to pass through, I think, if I remember rightly from the book. And that was filmed. That was shot. There's even a bit in the Return of the King video game where the cutscene before the beginning of the Cirith Ungol level, it focuses on these statues that, you know, like their eyes light up red and they start to rotate and turn around. So there's definitely something there. And I would have loved that scene. And how it's cut, you watch that scene, and, you know, it cuts to Sam approaching, and then all of a sudden it just cuts, and he's in like the middle of the courtyard of Cirith Ungol, and it's like, there's something there. There's something they removed there, and it's probably that scene. So, JX says, yeah, if the fan edits remasters weren't such a big thing these days, I think you'd be singing a different tune regardless. Regarding the remastery of those deleted scenes. Has everything Middle Earth managed to track down Waldrig yet? I think he's still on his quest, but Everything in Middle Earth is putting out some amazing content on his channel right now. I need to get... Oh, God, my knee. Oh, I need this stuff to, like, brace myself up now. I'm not going to try and tilt my Mac, so let's get this stuff down. Let's place it down here. And I can pack that away later. That's come off the wall. That needs to be fixed. So, you know what? That can also go here, and I can worry about that later. Perfect. Right. Okay. You guys have my undivided attention. Everything in Middle-earth's putting out some great content on his channel at the moment. He's been doing a lot of AI videos, and he's actually putting together some really, really good videos from the Silmarillion. A lot of those stories. So I think recently he's done the first kinslaying, I think. So definitely check that out. I have been in contact with him a good few weeks ago now. I dropped him a text. I think it's when I went to Comic-Con, actually. So, a month and a bit ago. I dropped him a text just to check in, see how he was doing. And, we had a bit of a back and forth. And hopefully we can get a video together at some point. I don't want to push it. So, but he's doing okay. He's doing okay. He's doing good. And hopefully we can start making some content again at some point. Let's see. JX says, wonder if AI could be used with the stills we have of Sam entering Cirith Ungol, could be used to fake it with AI. Maybe, yeah. There's definitely some options there, I think. That's what I says. Yeah, the AI stuff, get him on to do a director's commentary or something. Yeah, we'd have to think about, because I know that, Rings of Power Season 3 is on the way. It's in production. I'm not sure if that comes out. Is that next year that comes out? I can't remember. Well, there's a way to celebrate the 25th anniversary of the Lord of the Rings films. Rings of Power Season 3. And of course, fingers crossed, hopefully we'll both be back to return to do our commentary, our reviews on those, because those are always fun to do. But yeah, it'd be nice to do something a bit different. It's been a while since I've seen the director's commentaries of the Lord of the Rings films, so that would be nice to go back to as well. JX says, I'm actually doing something similar with a Star Wars edit bath time. I think having Peter Jackson commentary for Chris's edit would be pretty kick-ass. 2027. Oh, thank Christ. Can they just keep delaying it? I think we get a season 3, and then I think they either cancel it, because Wheel of Time's been cancelled now, and Amazon make that. And I don't know if they were contractually obligated to make an X number of seasons of that. I can't remember. I know with Rings of Power, they've mentioned they're locked into 5 seasons. I don't know if that's legally binding, or I don't know if they'd like to make 5 seasons, but if it doesn't work out, they can pull the plug on it whenever, which I really hope is the case. If that's the case, I think we get a season 3, and then I think it's cancelled. If they are restrained to 5 seasons, I think we're probably going to get the Game of Thrones treatment, where they'll rush out a quick season 4 and season 5. There's usually 8 episodes, isn't there, per season of Rings of Power? So I think we probably get like a 4-episode season, and they'll just finish it with that, or maybe just like an extra long episode or something that's like 3 hours, and then they'll just call that their season 4 and 5. And on paper they made 5 seasons, but really we know the reason why. Bath Time says, I think they've had the Riot Act read to them and have to deliver 2 or 3 seasons worth of mapped out scripts. Oh shit. Well, me and Everything in Middle-earth will be putting out a lot of content, because especially it's years between seasons now. I mean, if it was a really good series, that would absolutely kill me, but it just seems to be across the board now. You look at Stranger Things, it's years between seasons now, and especially when you got something like Stranger Things, where the cast are still meant to be kids. It's the same thing that's going to happen with the Harry Potter series. I don't know whether the Harry Potter series, they're going to try and go like bang, 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 and like film them annually and just get a new season out every year. But yeah, if you're going to have 2 years spread between the Harry Potter series that's coming out, the kids are going to age like crazy. I mean, they did in the original Harry Potter films. I remember going to see, even Chamber of Secrets in some respects, and that only came out a year later. I remember as a kid, I was like, why does Hermione's voice sound different? Why does Ron's voice sound different? And then especially when you get to Prisoner of Azkaban, you were like, oh, these characters are aging alongside me now. But it happens quick. And it just seems that most TV series now have years in between, and it just kills the momentum. Like any TV series that I used to watch, you just wait a year and you'd be hyped and you'd speculate about that series. Now it can be 2, 3, 4 years, maybe even sometimes between seasons, and you're just over it at that point. You forgot what's happened in the previous series, and there's no drive for that next series. Brinsley says, damn, I missed the unboxing. I can go back after. You can, and you can watch when I accidentally disconnected my computer. But thankfully, people stuck around and waited for me to turn it back on. So, yeah, rookie error. It's just the downside of having a desktop computer. Let's see. JX says, can confirm writing a commentary for your own edit is pretty tedious. Either the point about an edit takes longer to explain than the edit, so you're still talking about it later or worse. Wait, you wrote a commentary for? Oh, I remember. Yeah, sorry, because you did the voice change, right? Yeah. But yeah, no, I wouldn't write a commentary on something if I'm just doing a commentary on my edit. Hit record, hit play, and whatever comes out, and you just try and keep it focused on the film and the process, and just talk. But yeah, I think if I remember rightly, with your commentary there, you were doing it in a particular style of. So yeah, you would have to write that. Bathsime says, this is why I really rate Slow Horses. Sometimes they get 2 seasons in a year, and it's really good. Yeah, I don't watch much TV. I must admit, the last TV show that I watched was Andor, which was really, really good. And then the TV show that I watched before that was The Penguin, which was also really, really good. But yeah, I tend to be more movies now. When I get the time, a lot of my free time now is, doing other stuff, different commitments now, unfortunately. But I wanted to get another video out for you guys, so I'm probably going to round it off here because it's coming up to 3:30. The work rush is going to be crazy, and I need to get myself down the gym. So I've got a gym, guitar practice, piano practice, a lot I still need to do. So I'm probably going to round it off here, but it's been really nice catching up with you guys, and thank you to everyone who's tuned in during your lunch break, or if you're watching this on the sly at work. Always appreciate you guys. So yeah, if ever I pick up any more items, I quite like doing these unboxing videos. It's always nice to talk about this stuff and to chat with you guys as well. I'll be back on Wednesday, though. Me and Dale are going to be getting back on track with our Studio Ghibli retrospective. We took last week off because I was at the cinema watching the Indiana Jones films, which was Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, which was amazing seeing those films on the big screen finally. Usually, if I'm going to go through the Mount Rushmore of my favorite film series or favorite films of all time, there's the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the original Star Wars trilogy, and right after I usually say the original Indiana Jones trilogy. And yeah, that was great. But that did occupy most of my week, so we couldn't find time to get that one out. So we will be back on Wednesday and getting nicely back on track with that. Let's see. So we've had people saying The Expanse is great. Brinsley says that he still needs to watch The Penguin. Get on it. It's fantastic. You're missing out on I think it's 8 episodes. Incredible TV, wonderful writing, and great performances. The one who plays, I've forgotten her name now, oh yeah, no, it's gone. But the one who plays Sophia Gigante and that won an Emmy last night for a performance. I do think Colin Farrell should have won something for best actor. I think he was absolutely gypped with that. But I think The Penguin walked away with like 9 Emmys by the end of the night, so that's pretty good going. What has James Gunn won for Superman? I guess we'll find out next year, won't we? If it's for any Oscars. Yeah, right. I'm going to peace out. Thank you to all of you guys. I appreciate you all. And yeah, hopefully see some of you again on Wednesday when I'm talking about more Studio Ghibli. I need to get all this stuff packed away. So wish me luck. I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.